Hey everyone, I know that many of you have been anxious to find out what our church's plans are for our worship gatherings in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. And so I want to share with you what decisions have been made and how we're going to move forward together as a body. Firstly, I want to say that this was a really difficult decision to make. Sabbath is a really special time in our lives. The opportunity to come together to worship, to fellowship, to spend time in the presence of God is so important to the life of the church. And so we wanted to take time to make sure that we made the best decision possible. So for that reason, myself and the local leadership wanted to have time to pray, to listen to God, to consult with the local conference to hear their recommendations, to listen to the local government and what their recommendations are for our communities, and to try to understand as best we could how this outbreak is unfolding in Oklahoma and the impact that it could have in our communities. So as we've done that, yesterday we met together, each of the leaderships in the churches, and decided that we felt that it was in the best interest of our community and our church family if we suspend our services through the end of the month. So for the next two Sabbaths, there'll be no gatherings at our local churches. After that time, we'll reevaluate, and we're praying and hoping that the outbreak will have subsided, and then we'll be able to come together again after that time. In the meantime, we're going to be utilizing some online alternatives to still stay connected, to have some community together. And so this coming Sabbath at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be putting up a Sabbath message, and that'll be premiering on Facebook and also uploaded to our district website, which is www.redplainsadventist.com. And so at 11 o'clock, we'll be able to get together, those of you who have Facebook, and we can watch the sermon together, and then we'll also be able to chat together in the comments section and share prayer requests and just talk with each other and have a little bit of community there together Sabbath morning. And then going forward, I'm looking at some alternatives for us to be able to do maybe some group video conference calls, or some other live stream options, so that we can have some community and some connection together. And I'm also going to be producing some articles and videos and podcasts for you to have and share during this time, so that I can try to offer some pastoral support and encouragement during this time while we're separated, with the goal that after this time is passed, I'll continue to produce this content to support the mission of the church. And so really neat opportunities that are available to us right now during this time. So right now, if you have Facebook, make sure you head over to Facebook, find Red Plains Adventists on Facebook, like that page. That's the district page. And then also each local church has their own Facebook page, like those, and check out our website, redplainsadventist.com. Get familiar with that. There's already content up there available for you as well. I know that right now is kind of a difficult time. There's a lot of uncertainty, some anxiety. All of us are having to acclimate to the radical changes that are happening in our lives. Some of us are struggling with that more than others, and that's okay. What I want you to know is that I'm always here for you. If you need to talk, if you just need to vent, you can call me, you can text me anytime. I'm available to you. It will not be an imposition. So please know that you can reach out to me if you need to talk. It's my privilege to be your pastor, and so I want you to know that I'm available to you at any time. Along with that, if you need anything, if you're not feeling well, or you're not able to get out, or you just are uncomfortable getting out and you need food or medicine or something, feel free to call me, let me know, and I will make sure that we get you taken care of. During this time when we're isolated, it's important that we remember that we're not alone. We still have our church families, and we will still be there to support each other in any way that we can. I also want to talk with you a little bit about the ministry of the church during this time. How can we be continuing to do ministry to others during this time. And so there's a few ways that ministry will carry on, and I want to share those with you. First is that we need to be praying. As the people of God, we have a responsibility to intercede for others and for the world. As we pray, God will hear and he will respond, and the world is blessed by the prayers of those who believe in God, even those who don't believe in him. And so as we pray and God answers those prayers, people will be drawn to him because God is active in times like this. He is reaching out to people who are hurting or are suffering from anxiety or stress during these times. And as we pray and he is able to move in response to those prayers, people will come to know God through that time. So we need to be praying. We need to be praying that God will shorten this outbreak, that he will be near to those who are infected, that he will heal those who are having serious repercussions from this illness right now. And we also need to be praying for each other and individuals, friends, neighbors, family members. Pray for them specifically. And when you pray for them, take a moment, send them a little text message and just let them know, hey, you were on my mind. I was praying for you. Hope you're doing good. In addition to that, think about those people that might be isolated, alone, or just people that you may know that might be having a hard time with what's going on in the world, and call them and talk to them. Let them know that you're thinking about them. That in and of itself will be a big encouragement. And as you're talking to them, listen to what they have to say. Ask them how they're doing. And share with them too from your heart. Be open, be honest, be real with them about how you're adjusting to what's going on, and just let them see that we're all in this together, and let them see who you really are. I think that's a big part of effective ministry, is being open and honest and sharing our hearts with people, and allowing them to see how our faith in Jesus impacts how we see the world. I think that it's easy to think that in a time like this, anything short of almost ignoring the problem is not being faithful to God. That somehow, if we're not just completely ambivalent towards the threat that we're under from this virus, that somehow we're not expressing true faith in God. But faith is more than that. Faith really is that even in the midst of our struggles and our trials and maybe our uncertainty, that we know that we can turn to God, and he's our rock in these times, even when we're facing uncertainty. So be willing to share that with people, be open with people, and tell them about how Jesus helps you in times like this. Finally, I want to remind you that it's also very important that as you're able, that you continue to give to the church, that you return your tithes and your offerings to the church. In some areas of Oklahoma, people are going to be hit really hard with this. Incomes are going to be significantly impacted, and our tithe goes to support the ministry in the entire state of Oklahoma. It pays for pastors, teachers, evangelism, and the ministry that happens on the state level. And so we need to make sure that we're faithful to support that work so that we can continue to do what God has called us to do as a church. So in returning our tithe, and then also at the local churches, your offerings are still needed. The bills are going to keep coming in. We run really tight ships at the local level. We don't have a lot of overhead. We don't have a lot of fat in our budgets, but we also don't have a lot of extra savings. And so as you're able, please continue to support the church through your tithes and offerings. And if during this time you would like to give some donations that the church could use to specifically meet needs of people that may be presented to us as we go through this time, you can mark your donations for community services in your local church, and then those funds will be available for us to support people who may be in need in our communities through this time. Finally, I just want to say that I believe this time will be a temporary time apart. and I'm praying that it's going to be very brief. I'm hopeful that this will just be a 2-weekend thing, and in April we'll be back together again, worshiping together. When I look around and I look at the world, I see that there's still so much need in the world for people to hear about Christ's promise of hope and rest. And so we need to make the most of the opportunities we have right now, but also as we think about the impact this has had on us and our religious experience in this time, and we're mindful that we do not see this world as our home forever, but we look forward to the return of Jesus. Let's take this little crisis that we've had here and allow that to fuel us so that when we do come back together after this little break, that we will go forward firmly and passionately to fulfill our mission that Christ has given us to take the gospel to the world. God bless you. I'll be praying for you, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.